Good evening, everyone. Mr. Roy Sugireki, aka Posh Farms, CEO Nawiwu Farmers. Okay, today I want to talk about growing, breaking of ashlings in bulls, the proportional equivalent of eggs to larva. Now, it's a very, very sensitive topic, but I would like to break it down as much as possible, make it short. Now, a lot of you have read uh, stuffs online, post online about BSF. So when you come to some of our classes, you have a lot of questions that kind of contradict what you are hearing. One of the main reason is this. Now, the people writing on Google are in a different environment. We farming it, teaching what we farm, we're in a different environment. So if somebody is teaching you, let's say from the north in Nigeria, and somebody is teaching you from the south in Nigeria, some things will be different. So uh, it's not everything that you can directly relate to Google. For example, the life cycle. A lot of things change the life cycle of BSF farming. Feeding, a lot of things change. So today particularly, I want to talk about growing eggs to harvest larva. Now, if you go to Google, they'll tell you 1 gram of egg gives you 3 kg. But what they will not tell you is that there are a lot of conditions you have to put in place to be able to achieve that. What we have found here in Nigeria, myself and a lot of my colleagues have agreed that it's not easy to hit 3 kg just by hatching the eggs and just feeding. The kind of feed, the time of feeding, the conditions around feeding change a lot of things. So let me bring it down to my own practical knowledge. 1 gram of eggs gives you 2 kg or 2.5. And if you are not careful, you just get 1 kg. In 5 days, after hatching, in 5, 6, 7 days, they start to move towards the 16th. That is, they start pushing towards turning to prepupa. And as they are pushing towards that, their protein content decreases, their weight starts to decrease also. So if you are judging from the time where you hatch to the time where you used to feed your fish or your birds, and you ask how many kg can I get from 1 gram, I'll tell you 2 kg or 1.5. Now, when you hatch your eggs, what do you use to feed your eggs? Personally, I use starter, and recently I started using PKC. Now, after the first day hatching, I switched to PKC, or I use starter, or I switched to fermented what's it called, burial waste. Now, these three things give three different results. PKC is fast, very fast. um Starter is not as fast, but it is sure. Burial waste is not burial waste is fast, especially after they have crossed the third day. So what are you using to feed your maggots even after hatching? Like, I leave mine in the bowl for 3 days, then I move to the pond, like I showed you in my previous videos. I move to the pond. Then with poultry waste, they spend 5, 6, 7 days before harvest. But with burial waste, within 4 days, you're harvesting. So I know burial waste, that is burial spent grain, is faster than poultry waste. Now, if you are talking about using poultry waste and using bury spent grain to um, feed, the result is different. For example, like I've noticed that if I use bury spent grain, they grow very fast, but they also start to pupate very fast. Unlike poultry waste, they grow slowly, not so fast, and it takes a lot of time before they pupate, but they are bigger. Now, if you are using bury waste and you add fruits to it, they grow very fast, very, very fast. Now they grow big, but they don't rush to pupate. So you see, these different substrates, different feeds. That's what I mean by substrate. These different substrates give um, different results. So you can't be particular. For me, there are some people that have succeeded in building greenhouses for BSF, so they are able to put a lot of conditions to make sure that they achieve the 1 gram 3 kg pattern. But me, I'm just okay with what I'm doing as far as I get good results from what I'm using. Instead of I don't have all that money to spend on building greenhouses and all those things. So when people ask me how many grams, how many kg comes out of 1 grams, I tell them it depends on your practice. It depends on how you feed them, when you feed them. For example, I've not been home today. I left home in the morning. I didn't feed my maggots. I just came back and I decided to do this video. I have not fed my maggots. But when I'm home, when I'm in the farm, I feed my maggots early in the morning, I feed by noon, and I feed in the evening, and sometimes I come out at 9 to feed. So you cannot compare both. Now, maggots have this tendency, especially if you are using bury waste or PKC, you feed, they grow fast. Then you don't feed for some time, they start to shrink. They are not as turgid, that is as plumpy as they should be. But for poultry waste, they still have a lot to recycle, so they can still stay plump. So you see, the result will not be the same. So you cannot be very scientific about what you get. No, but with time and practice, you'll be able to condition your own maggots to what you want. For example, if I say I want to get 3 kg from 1 gram of egg, first of all, I know I have to make sure that my flies mate, making sure that they have the adequate amount of light during the day and at night. So I'm sure that I'm going to have hatchability at 90% or 95%. That is, if they lay eggs, I'm sure that 90, 95, 98% will hatch. So when I say I scoop 1 gram of eggs, I know I have 1 gram of eggs. But if only 50% is hatching, that 1 gram of eggs that you have scooped, you are actually having half a gram. So if I want to have that result of 1 gram to 3 kg, I have to put my fly cage in order. That is one. So my hatch rate will be high and very good. Then in the nursery, I have to make sure that they have enough food. That is something I don't play with. They have enough moisture. It's something I don't play with. And they have the right food. Now, this time, I will not just be depending on starter. I would rather ferment my feed so that whatever they eat, they are able to convert it to body mass in time. That is now talking about their working on their food conversion ratio. They are eating this amount of food, they should be able to give you this amount of body mass. So you see, you have to put all these conditions in place for you to achieve that 1 gram to 3 kg. So for those of you that have been asking, how many kg of larva can I get from 1 gram? or from so number of gram. Like I said, I'll tell you, it depends on your practice. Depends on your practice. It is your practice that will determine what you get. There's no fixed scientific calculation that you must be this. No, depends on your practice and it depends on your conditioning. Thank you.